And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna, and Merry Christmas. On today's program, we are going to be doing kind of an alternative Christmas feast for us. You know, traditionally, we all have the turkey and the ham and all of the fixing, and that's wonderful, and I love it. But sometimes you just want a little something different, and maybe you don't have 20 or 30 people to cook for at Christmas time, and maybe it's just you, or maybe it's just 3 or 4 of you. And so we're going to do kind of a nice fancy dinner, but it's going to be the alternative to that huge ham or huge turkey. And so today we're going to be making a chicken a l'orange. Now, traditionally, you've heard of the duck a l'orange. Well, we're going to be making it today with boneless, skinless chicken breasts. We're going to make some cream peas. The chicken is going to be served over wild rice, and then we're going to have a delicious grape and strawberry salad with a cream cheese dressing over top. So let's get started. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have got 6 beautiful boneless, skinless chicken breasts here. Now, this is one of those recipes, if you only need 4, you know, you can make this very same recipe with just 4 chicken breasts, or even just maybe cut the glaze down by half and just do 2, if maybe it's just you and 1 other person. And this doesn't have to just be a Christmas meal. You can do this any night of the week when you want to make something a little extra special for your family. On our chicken breasts, I have got in my little small skillet here just a couple of tablespoons of butter that I have melted, and I'm just going to kind of pour that melted butter over there, over the chicken breasts. Leave that on your skillet because we're going to, or on your stovetop, because we're going to use that pan to make our glaze in. I have got about 2 teaspoons of just dried thyme that I'm going to sprinkle over, because thyme is one of those ingredients that just is delicious with chicken. It just adds a little extra flavor to it. And I have got some grill seasoning. Now, I like the grill seasoning that is for the steak, but you can use it on chicken, you can use it on fish, you can use it on pork, you can use it on whatever you want. You don't have to just use it on your beef dishes. It has got coarse black pepper, salt, some coriander, a little red pepper flakes. Some blends have a little bit of garlic, and you can see in there, it's just a real coarse spice blend. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit over our chicken. And because I'm using this, I'm not going to add any extra salt or pepper to this. Now, we want to just get these chicken breasts at this stage. Let's add just a touch more. We want to put these into our preheated oven, and we're going to let the chicken roast in the oven until it's done. These will take about 25 minutes or so. Then we're going to finish it up by putting it with the rice. So let's get these in the oven. This is one of those dishes that you can make, like I said, any day of the week. But if you wanted to make a special Christmas feast, and maybe you're, tired of the ham and the turkeys and all of that by the time that Christmas rolls around, this is a delicious alternative to that. I have got a small saucepan here that I'm going to preheat here. I'm going to add about 2 1/4 cups of just store-bought chicken stock. I want to be careful not to get this all over everything. Christmas is everybody's favorite holiday. It's the day that you get your family all together, and you do the presents and the wonderful just time being together, and we just love it in our house. And we do, I may have shared this with you, on Christmas Day, we do a special thing at our house. We make a birthday cake for Jesus, and the kids and I, and then we actually put the candles on, we sing happy birthday and do all that. And that's our special dessert for Christmas Day. But this is just, another special meal that we like to do throughout the year. It's delicious. Traditionally, like I said, it is cooked with duck, but I'm not a real big fan of duck, and that's not something that is readily available, but chicken is. I have one box of just the boxed wild rice blend that you can buy anywhere, and I've just added the rice to my chicken stock, and I'm going to add the seasoning packet that comes with it. I love the convenience rice blends that you can get nowadays. They're delicious. You can get the whole wheat rice, you can get the brown rice, you can get wild rice, you can get all kinds. I chose today the wild rice blend, but if you don't like the wild rice blend, you can use whatever kind of rice you like, or you could, if you wanted to, couscous is something that you could use, or orzo pasta on the bottom of this dish if you wanted. If maybe you're not a rice person, you could use any kind of a grain dish on there. Just stir that in. We want to bring this up to a boil. I'm going to add to this just a couple of tablespoons of butter, maybe just one. We're going to be using a lot of butter today. We're just going to add a little bit of butter. I'm not going to add salt to it because I find the pre-boxed up rice mixes and pasta mixes that you buy, that little packet of the seasoning mix has got a lot of sodium in it. So I don't add any salt. If you like to add a little bit of salt to it, you know, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. Now we just want to bring that up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat and let that simmer. This particular kind takes about 25 minutes or so, and you know, then it's delicious and it's done. It takes the time off of the long cooking. You know, sometimes when you just get the raw rice instead of the convenience boxes, that takes forever to cook. Now, in our small saucepan that we melted our butter in, we are going to add a couple of tablespoons more of butter, and we're going to melt that. Let's turn it back down to about medium. This is a delicious glaze over chicken. It's just a wonderful, wonderful glaze, and it's very, very simple. It sounds fancy, but it's super, super easy to do. Now, I bought today just some frozen orange juice concentrate that you can get anywhere, and I'm just going to use, I just thawed it out to where it liquefied. I'm going to use about 1/4 of a cup. You don't have to measure on this. Just kind of pour what you think is about 1/4 of a cup in there. And then I bought some orange marmalade that you get in the jelly sections of your grocery store. Just some plain orange marmalade. And I want about 1/2 cup, which this is a 12-ounce jar. So I'm going to add probably about 3/4 of this to my saucepan. Let's just get that in there. Well, I've just about used it all. Let's just put it all in there. I like a lot of glaze on mine. Let's just add the whole jar of the orange marmalade. Orange marmalade is a wonderful jelly for your breakfast on toast or English muffins. It's got the orange zest in there, which personally I think has more flavor than the orange. And just kind of stir those up together. Let's use our little, really what we're doing is just melting the jelly and incorporating that in with the other ingredients. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to show you the most delicious fruit salad dressing that you have ever tasted. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Hey, and welcome back. Now, before I show you the cream cheese dressing, I'm having trouble with that word today, we're going to make some chocolate chip oatmeal cookies, and we're going to get those in the oven so they can be baking while we make the dressing for our salad. Now, our glaze is just going away. The only thing we need to add to our orange glaze is just a little bit of salt, just a little pinch, not a lot, maybe 1/2 teaspoon, and some freshly ground pepper to our glaze, and it is done. And it's just waiting on the chicken. The chicken is in the oven baking. Our rice, we've turned it down to simmer. We brought it up to a boil. Now we've turned it down. It takes about 20, 25 minutes or so to cook. And look at that, how delicious that looks. Now we're just going to kind of let that hang out and get thicker and thicker as it simmers away. The waters in the marmalade and the orange juice will kind of evaporate and the glaze will get thicker, which is what you want. So just kind of let that hang. Now I have got a cup of butter that I've softened, which is 2 sticks, real butter. You cannot use margarine in a cookie recipe. It just does not taste the same. We want to add to that 1 cup of packed brown sugar. I'm using light brown, but you can use, whatever kind of brown sugar. If you have dark brown, that'll be fine. And about half a cup of just regular white granulated sugar. And couldn't find my half cup here, so we're just going to do half of this one of just regular white sugar. We're going to start creaming that together first with just a hand mixer. If you have a stand mixer, you can, feel free to use that. Just start creaming that. We're going to add to this mixture, we're going to add a couple of eggs, kind of get that going. Now, had a little bit of sugar go off here. Let's put that back in there. We want to add 2 eggs to our mixture and beat them in one at a time. Don't add them both and then beat it. Just do them one at a time. Get that going. Chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. I mean, it can't be Christmas without cookies, can it? Then we want to add our other egg. My boys love to help me bake cookies at Christmas time, any time of the year. And I want to add about 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla. There's about 1.5, 2. Pure vanilla. Don't use the imitation stuff. That's just made with grain alcohol, and it just is not good. It adds an aftertaste. You really need to use pure vanilla. Just beat that together until all of that is incorporated. And that's your wet mixture. Okay, now, let's get that out. I have a large bowl here that I have got 1 1/4 cups of just all-purpose flour. To that, I want to add about half of a teaspoon of baking powder. Behind my half teaspoon, don't have my glasses on here, bear with me. About half a teaspoon of baking powder to your flour. About a teaspoon of salt, so I'll add 2 halves. I'm using kosher salt because I use that for, just about everything. And then just lightly, let me get a spoon here, give that a little stir to combine those ingredients. Then we're going to add 3 cups of quick cooking oatmeal, just the regular, oats that you buy in the store. We want 3 cups of these. There's 1. This makes it healthy, the oatmeal in there. 2 and 3. There's our 3 cups of our oats. Our glaze is simmering. Then we want to add about a cup of walnuts, just chopped up walnuts. If you don't have walnuts and you want to use pecans, you can, or almonds, whatever you have on hand would be perfectly fine. And then semi-sweet chocolate chips, which I always have on hand. I want about a cup of those or so. You can't have too much chocolate, can you? It's delicious. Now, if my child were here, Aaron, he'd be eating these chocolate chips. They would be half gone by now. Stir all that up together. And those are your dry ingredients. And then we want to add our wet ingredients that we have here. Our mixtures of our butter and our sugars and things. Just kind of put that in there. This will be a stiff dough, which is fine. It's what you want. Get all of that butter out of there. Okay, put this over here. Out of my way, I'm running out of room here today. And then stir all this together making sure you get it all incorporated. It will be, like I said, it will be a very, very stiff dough. You can use your spoon. If you want to use your, kind of get it started by using your mixer, that'll be fine. Just kind of stir that all together. This is a great way to get it going. If you have a stand mixture, you know, those are great for cookies and breads and things like that. And I do use mine very often. But I already had this out, so we'll just kind of get this going. And then I have a baking sheet here in front of me. Now this will make a lot of cookies. This will make about probably 40 to 50 cookies. So this is one of those great recipes for like a recipe swap. You know how sometimes at Christmas you'll have you and your friends together and you just do a big recipe swap where everybody brings cookies. This would be a great one for that. Now, you see that beautiful dough? Let me get this up here where you can see it. Grab a paper towel. Now, you want to take just rounded spoonsful of this dough and put it on your, I line my baking sheets always with like a parchment paper. I just like, because it makes the cleanup so much easier. You cannot use wax paper. You do have to use parchment, or you don't have to. Just you know, put it on your baking sheet. Rounded tablespoons or so. Let me get another spoon. If you have, somebody emailed me and said, you know, using a ice cream scoop is another wonderful way of doing, you know, this kind of thing, which is true. It would be, you want to put them about, I don't know, a couple of inches apart, 1.5 to 2 inches apart, and you just kind of want to get these on your baking sheet. Then we're going to put them in the oven. I like big cookies. If you like little cookies, use a smaller spoonful if you want to, but you know, I like bigger cookies. I like them I want to feel like I'm getting a mouthful of goodness there. But if you don't, maybe you want to make littler cookies, that's fine. Just use smaller spoonfuls. At about 325, your oven for approximately, you know, 12 minutes or so. Until they're done, they'll spread out and they'll become delicious. Oh, look at that, how good. So let's get these. We can just, our oven is at 350, but that's okay. We can just watch them real close with our chicken. So we'll check our chicken while we're in here. Let's get these in the oven. Chicken is looking delicious and smelling delicious. Watch your timer. You want that to go for approximately 12 minutes. I'm going to take one last quick break. When I come back, we're going to make the fruit salad and wrap up this meal. I'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Thank you, dear.
You make me feel so young.
Think young. Pass it on.
You make me feel so spring.
Thank you.
Kindness. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back. Now we're going to finish up our feast. We need to add one more thing to our glaze. I've got about 2 teaspoons or so of cornstarch, and I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of just chicken stock. You could use water or whatever you had on hand, but I had chicken stock, so that's what I'm going to use. Stir that together and pour that into your glaze. Now what that will do is thicken that. The cornstarch will thicken up your orange marmalade glaze, and it will be delicious. So let's just kind of let that hang out there for just a minute. That's done. Now, let's make our dressing for our wonderful fruit salad. I have 1 8-ounce carton of the frozen whipped topping that you get in the freezer department of your grocery store. You could, by all means, whip fresh cream if you wanted to, but this is just easier. And I'm going to add 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. to that, I'm going to add, now this is almond extract. If you've never used it, it's where you buy the vanilla, but it's almond. And I'm just going to add, it's a very strong flavor, so I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that. It's delicious. I love it. And I make a cheesecake that I use this that we're going to do one day, but it's yummy. So we want to whip all that together. Just your cream cheese and your almond extract. If you don't have almond extract and you want to use vanilla, you can. But the almond does add just a unique flavor to it. Let's whip that up a little bit here. Yum. Alrighty, now there's our whipped up cream cheese, and oh, I smell that almond, and it just smells delicious. Now I have got just some beautiful grapes. I bought the red grapes and the green grapes that are seedless, and I've got some beautiful strawberries here. And I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of sugar over top of that. I'm going to add just the rest of a few more little strawberries here to our mixture. We're going to fold all this together with our grapes and our dressing. Let's add one more strawberry here. Okay, put those to the side. Now we want to just kind of fold our fruit and our sugar, and what the sugar will do is macerate the strawberries and cause just the sweetness and the juices and make a beautiful little liquid to combine with our dressing. Now we've got our whipped cream. We want to add our fruit to that. I'm going to do it about half and half and just kind of fold that fruit in there, and then I'll add the rest here of our beautiful fruit salad. Fruit is one of those things that I love to eat with my meals. It's just light and refreshing. Let me get a bigger spoon here. It's lighter and refreshing and just adds just a wonderful beginning. I use this as a beginning course, as an appetizer type thing with my meal. Just get all that mixed in. Now, I have got 1/2 cup of brown sugar that I'm going to add to some sliced almonds. You could use pecans if you wanted to in this recipe, or, you know, I'm just using almonds today because that's what I had. And it marries beautifully with that almond extract. Add about half of this mixture to your fruit salad, and then save the other half for the garnish over top. And then just combine all that together. And that's your fruit salad. Now, if you will do this ahead of time and just kind of let this sit, it will be yummy. A bowl, to be honest with you, could be about twice as big as it is. And then we want to just put a little bit of this in our serving dish. Now, I would refrigerate this for a couple of hours at home. Just give yourself a nice big serving of this fruit salad. And then sprinkle over the top a little bit of your sugared almonds, just right over top of that. This would be wonderful for breakfast. And there's just a wonderful little fruit salad for your meal. Now, let's get the chicken going in the oven. We've got our chicken out. Let's get our wild rice into just a baking dish, just a pretty baking dish. Put your rice mixture down the bottom. In the bottom of your dish, just kind of spread it out. And then place your chicken breasts over top of your rice. And these are just not cooperating with me. So let's get a spoon here. Put your chicken breasts over top. And then we're going to pour that orange glaze over top of all of this and bake it. Going to be yummy. I've got a small pan here that we're going to make the creamed peas in. And then just pour your orange glaze over top. And you want to put this back in the oven for about 15 minutes. Save a little bit of juices there to garnish that with. Let's get this back in the oven for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. Now, let's get our peas started. I've got a skillet here, or a pan here, a saucepan, that I'm going to put on medium-high heat. Got about 4 tablespoons of butter that we want to melt. This is a quick, easy way to have peas, and I love them like this. Get our butter going. Get up in there. To this butter, I want to add about 4 tablespoons of flour. What you're doing here is making a roux. Just kind of let that melt together. And then we're going to add, now I'm using today just canned peas. I don't normally use a lot of canned vegetables, but this is one of those recipes that I really do just like the canned peas with it. Okay, now our butter and our flour has mixed together. I want to add 1 cup of milk. And then I drained one of my cans of peas, and I'm going to drain the other one into the liquid.